But what they don't mention is that sometimes time doesn't heal, it just reveals. 2 years ago, my ex-wife, Leah, walked out my life. She said she needed to find herself, which, in simpler terms, meant she'd already found someone else. I didn't fight her, didn't beg. I just stood there and watched her pack up her things, walking out to the same door we once dreamed our future through. Back then, I was shattered. No sense pretending otherwise. The silence she left behind wasn't peaceful. It was suffocating. You get so accustomed to someone's voice filling your world that when it disappears, even your own thoughts start to feel foreign. But I rebuilt slowly, painfully, piece by piece. I repaired the house, started running again, learned to cook something that didn't come in a takeout box. And one day, I realized I'd gone an entire week without thinking about her. That's when I knew I was healing. Then, 3 weeks ago, she came back. It was early evening. I was in the kitchen making dinner when the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, there she was. Same perfume, same gentle smile, same familiar eyes pretending not to be afraid. "Hey, Mason," she said, her voice trembling just enough to sound sincere. I just stared at her for a moment. Part of me wanted to shut the door right then. Another part wanted to know why she'd come. She looked around the house like she was walking through a memory. "You've changed things," she murmured, brushing a fingertip across a new picture frame. "Yeah," I said. "I had to." We sat in the living room, the same couch where she once told me she wasn't happy anymore. She started talking, the way people do when they're trying to make peace with their own guilt. She said she'd made mistakes, that life hadn't turned out how she imagined, that she missed how safe she felt with me. I listened quietly, calm, detached, almost amused, because the man she was talking to didn't exist anymore. Then she said something that almost made me laugh. "I've been thinking about us again. Maybe we could try again." Her voice cracked slightly, just enough to sound vulnerable. Before I could respond, the front door opened. I'd forgotten to lock it. Leah froze when she heard footsteps. And then her best friend, Ava, walked in. The same Ava who used to warn me that Leah only ever thought of herself. The same Ava who had been there for me when everything collapsed. Ava smiled, setting a grocery bag on the counter like she'd done it 100 times before. "Hope I'm not interrupting," she said lightly. Leah's face turned pale. Her lips parted, but no words came out. The air thickened, that kind of silence that presses down instead of filling space. Ava, on the other hand, was perfectly calm. "Dinner smells good," she said, ignoring the storm brewing across from her. Leah's voice finally returned, sharp and trembling. What is she doing here?" I leaned back in my chair, arms folded. "You showed up uninvited, Leah." She didn't. Her eyes darted between us, searching for something, a lie, a loophole, a lifeline. But it was exactly what it looked like. Ava broke the silence. "I told you once, Leah, you take people for granted, and one day you'll lose the ones who truly care." Leah's expression twisted, confusion, realization, then anger. "You? Seriously, Ava," she spat. "You were supposed to be my friend." "I was," Ava said steadily, "until I saw what you did to him. I could have stepped in. I didn't. Maybe I should have." Watching the two of them face each other felt like closing a chapter one never properly ended. Leah laughed, bitter, defensive, desperate. "So what now? You two decided to play house while I was gone." I met her eyes. "No, Leah, you decided to leave. I just stopped waiting." That was when her mask completely cracked. She stepped closer, eyes glassy. "I made a mistake, Mason," she whispered. "I thought I could find something better. But no one ever made me feel the way you did." For a second, I felt something, the faint echo of the man who once would have given anything to hear those words. But that man was gone. I stood up. "You had your chance, Leah. Twice. Once when I loved you, and again when you walked through that door tonight." Ava stood beside me, steady and silent. Leah's eyes flickered between us. Jealousy, regret, and defeat tangled together. She grabbed her purse and turned away. At the door, she paused. "You'll regret this, Mason." I shook my head. "No, Leah. I already did. I'm just done repeating it. And this time, she left for good. The door clicked shut, and for a long while, neither Ava nor I spoke. The tension slowly eased, replaced by that strange calm that follows a storm. When you realize the walls are still standing. Ava let out a quiet breath. You okay? I nodded. Yeah, just surprised. She smiled faintly. You handled that better than I thought you would. 2 years ago, I would have begged Leia to stay. I know, Ava said softly. That's what makes it different now. We sat down again, the air still heavy with everything that didn't need to be said. I thought about how life had turned, how the same woman who once broke me had just walked out of my life for the last time, while the one who helped me rebuild it stood right here. I looked at Ava. She met my eyes and didn't look away. There was an understanding between us. Quiet, unspoken, real. She'd seen me at my worst. I'd seen her patience through all of it. There was no pretending left. Then she said softly, You know, she came to me a few months ago. I blinked. Leia did. Ava nodded. She asked for advice. Said she missed the stability you gave her. I told her she didn't miss you. She missed the comfort she thought she could always come back to. That stung a little, mostly because it was true. Leia hadn't come back for love. She came back because the world outside didn't love her back the same way. Ava stood and began unpacking the groceries. You still hungry? She asked. I smiled faintly. Yeah, starving, actually. As she moved around the kitchen, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Not excitement. Not obsession. Just peace. And that's when I realized how rare that feeling really is. Later that night, after dinner, we sat on the porch. The air was cool, the crickets loud, the sky an endless dark. Ava rested her head on my shoulder. You think she'll come back again? She asked quietly. Probably, I said. But this time, there's nothing left for her to find. She nodded, a small smile curving her lips. Good, because she already lost the best thing she ever had. I glanced at her, a small laugh escaping me. And what about me? What did I find? Her eyes met mine. Someone who won't leave when things get hard. The night stretched quiet around us, calm, steady, whole. And for the first time in a very long time, I didn't feel haunted by the past. I just fell home,